Hi and welcome. In this video today I will show you how to create some fire with the plugin Turbulence FD with Cinema 4D. The first thing that we have to do is to create a user interface for this plugin, like this one. So we have this window here and we have the container. To do it, you have to go in the startup interface, go in the window interface and click on modifier palette. You have this new window and here you have to tap container. Okay, you can see the container here. So it's a shortcut, so I have to click and drag it and pose it where I want on my windows. I choose to put it here. The next step is to go in your plugin menu and use the simulation windows. I will use this little square to move this windows just here. I click and drag and I put it here. Okay. Now I have my new interface. I want to save it. So I go in Windows, Interface and Save As. If I use Save As, I have to create a name like tuto and I click to save, and now I can find my new interface here. If I want to see this interface at every startup of Cinema 4D, I have to click and save as default interface. Okay, now we have our new interface and we can begin with Turbulence FD. The first thing that you have to do is to create a container. The container is the square where the fluid will be simulated. Okay, so all fire, all density will be in this square. Now I need a geometry, a mesh to set on fire. Okay, so I will use a cube for the example. I will reduce this size. Okay, a little square in the container. Now I have to tell to Turbulence FD that this square will emit some fire or density. So you have to right click on your square and go in your properties Turbulence FD and create a Turbulence FD emitter. Here you can tell to Turbulence FD that you want some fire, some density, some fuel and some burn. Temperature is just the temperature, it's not flame, okay? Burn is flame when you will use the render. So the temperature will help Turbulence FD to simulate your density and your fire. If it's very hot, you will have more fire and more turbulence, and if it's soft, you will have less turbulence. Lots of people use temperature to create flames, but it's not a good way to have flames. You have to use burn. So now if I will save. Okay, now if you hit the button start, you'll see some temperature. By default, you see the temperature. Okay, you can go in the Turbulence FD container in viewport preview and you can change if you want to see the density, if you want to see fuel burn, etc. Here we have no density for one reason. So we have density here, but we don't have activate the density in the simulation tab. So I click on simulation, I click on density and I active density. Now if I hit start, I can see the density. The density go up like the temperature, but if I disable the temperature, the density is near my square. Why? Just because the density is very come on, lightweight, okay? It's very light, it's not heavy. So when the temperature is hot, the temperature go up and it will drag the density with the temperature. If you don't want some temperature in your simulation, you can go in your simulation tab and use the gravity. And now you have your density go down. Okay. So for my tutorial, you can see that I use the interactive mode. The interactive mode will not use cache, it just create all frame directly on your preview part, but you can't do a render with this mode. To create a render, you have to start a simulation in cache mode. A cache mode will write all the simulation on your computer. To set up your cache, you can go in Turbulence FD container, and in container you have the way of the simulation. Okay, you can create a new click here to create a new cache with a name, we need it, etc. And you can go in Control E, yes, to go in your preferences, and you have Turbulence FD, and you can write a default cache. So when you click on new, the new cache will be right on this way. Okay. So when I set up my my Turbulence FD, I always work with interactive. So I have the temperature, density, fuel. Okay, I will use just temperature and show you other setup. So I go in my viewport preview and I select temperature in channel. Now I can see my temperature. Here we have just real flames to straight. I want to have my flames around my square. Okay, so we have here radius. If I increase the radius, you can see that it's like you have 10 centimeters around your square, and this is this new geometry that emits your flames. You have another way to create something like that. I prefer the other way, and the other way is in force, and you have to increase the pressure. I increase the pressure, and the pressure is like a wind that blow the fluid. It's push your fluid from the square, so you have a better result. It's more with more life. It's more. It's alive. Okay, so I prefer use the pressure. The next step that I always do is to put something in texture. What is textures? It's a gray channel, okay, so we'll put noise, and where it's black will not emit, and where it's white will emit at 100%. Okay, if I put all white, I have 100% of emission, and all black, it's not with no emission. So it's very nice to use in a noise. I like the fire noise, and you can move, okay, the écrétage, well, you look, and create an animation, okay, animation. Now you have this noise that move on your square, and the emission is not linear, and you have more live flames. Okay, it's a little better, but it's very important because we have some turbulence by default without the turbulence or vortex parameters on container. Okay, so we have the better flames, better simulation. Then I will improve my simulation and go in the simulation tab, okay, in my container, and I have to increase the cooling because my flames go on the top of my container. So if I increase the cooling, my flames will die before, okay, plutôt earlier, okay, will die earlier. You have the half-life 5 frames, so at 10 frames the fluid will die. The buoyancy is like the gravity. If you have negative buoyancy, the flames will go down. But if you have positive buoyancy, the flames will go up. More the buoyancy will be a big value, more the flames will go up. By default, 20 centimeters is very nice. And I never touch it, but if you want something more with more vorticity, you can increase a little. Why not? Okay. Two very important parameters are vorticity and turbulence. The vorticity will create some little balls of fire, okay? If I increase, you can see that it's very nervous. And the turbulence will create a very nice turbulence. It's something like round, okay? I will put a big value. Okay, so 50 is good number, but I have to set other value in smallest and largest size. I have to know the scale of my scene. My tips is to create another square, okay, and you scale the square at the size of you wish for the turbulence. If you want big turbulence, like this size, so the turbulence will fail. I go on my square and I see that it's 15 centimeters. Okay, I can delete it and go in my turbulence. The largest size have to be like 20 centimeters. Now you can see the difference. You have very powerful turbulence with a size of 15. The smallest size here is the little turbulence, okay, 108. Small power is a ratio, okay, you take this value, you multiply this value by this value, and you have the power for smaller size. So if you put 1, you have the same power for larger size and smaller size. If you put 0, you don't have smaller size turbulence, okay? So I like 0.75. The period is the turbulence is a noise that moves on your container and deform your fluid. The period is the I forget the word. It's the it's the speed of the movement of your noise. Okay, if you have a little value here, you will have something that very that will change all time frame. If you have 100 frame, it will be always the same turbulence, the same movement. If you want something very weird, very powerful, very exciting, you have to put a little value here. If you want something very smooth, cool, and just a little wind, you have to put a big value. For example, if you have a candle, if you have some wind in your room, the flame of the candle will move very quickly. So you have to put a little value. If it's very cool and move slowly, you have to put a big value here. It helps, but of course you have to choose the good power, the good turbulence intensity. You have to know that it's better to put a little value on vorticity before put some value on turbulence, because the vorticity will increase a lot the power of your turbulence. So I like put 5 or 15, and then I set up my turbulence. Something very important to know with your vorticity is to use an intensity channel. So the better way to use the intensity channel for vorticity is to select the temperature. What it does? Okay, alors, I can click on it because my C4D will crash, and it takes some time to restart. But you have here the density of your temperature, okay, or it's hot or not. Here it's hot, here it's cool, and here it's the frame of life, okay. So with temperature you will have the vorticity where the temperature is hot with this default curve. This default curve is very nice. And you can, if you want more vorticity, you can select this point and drag it to the left. These 2 points, you drag it to the left, and you will have more vorticity. But it's a very good way to manage your vorticity where you want it. Okay, you can do the same for your turbulence, but I love turbulence where it's cold, so I don't use intensity channel on turbulence, but always in vorticity. It helps you to have a big value and a nice result. Okay. Okay, the wind is the wind. Velocity, a clip below, is to kill fire. Okay, if I increase this value, the green square rectangle will kill the fluid earlier, and it helps you to have a more simulation more faster. But it's very nice to let it at 100,000. I don't know. Dump velocity. Dump, you know what is it? It's very nice to put a value here to create a candle flames. Okay, so you have to find the right value, but it will help to smooth all your fluid and have a candle flame. I just use dump velocity for a candle flame. Okay. Particle velocity scale, it's when you use some particles to hit your flames with an emitter, etc. Timing, if you scale the time to 200, you will have a simulation two times faster, okay, 2x and 1x, 2x, okay. And if you put it to 10, it's very slow for slow motion render. It's amazing. It's very nice parameters. You can you can use it with a less value. It's very nice. Something very important to know, it's in solver tab, is frame substep limit. By default, Turbulence FD will use this IPS, okay, and this IPS here. You have to have the same value here and here, or Turbulence FD will say to you that it's not the same, and maybe you will have some problem. So put the same value, okay, and So one frame of your timeline is one frame of simulation. If you put here 5, one frame on your timeline equal 5 frame of simulation. So you will have better simulation, better accurate, but it's important just if you have some move. If you have an object who moves through your frames and go to this frame, frame 0 is here, frame 1 is here, with 1, I will show you, okay, up, okay, frame 0, frame 1, the other way, okay? So here, if I have to create Turbulence FD emitter and I hit collision object. Okay, now I have an object with some collision. Okay, that's nice. But now if I create a simulation, Turbulence FD saw nothing, because for him it's a teleportation, okay? Poof. This object teleport here to here, so it don't hit the fire. So you have to create just here a frame, okay? And one frame before I take something like 15 frames a step, okay? Here 15, and at the end of the teleportation, okay, here I will make 1. So the simulation will take more time just during those frames, but the collision will work. Wow, it works. When you have some very fast movement like that, you have to increase this value. It's very important, and this value is the same, but just for the pressure. When you have very big, very big pressure value, it's important to increase this value. I use pressure, okay, to create an explosion. So sometimes I go here and I increase this value for just a frame, and I diminish it, and it will create an explosion. And when you do it, you can increase this value when you increase your pressure value. It will help Turbulence FD to do better work. A very, very nice tab is advection, velocity advection and channel advection. You just have the first order and the second order. If you want more turbulence, you see that little turbulence, okay, on this one. In first order, it will die quickly. And if you select the second order, the simulation will take more time because it's more difficult to calculate it, but all little turbulence will live more longer. So at the end of your work, for the final simulation, go in second order if you want. It will be, I find it better with more details. It's not always better, because if you create some fire, you don't have to have some turbulence, but for cloud, the second order is very important. Okay. You just have to read to understand. It's smooth. Cosh, to activate smooth collision surface rendering is very important. Just if you see some your object through flames, okay, it will smooth the collision and have a little sphere around, and it's important to. It's useless to use it when you have a material like this one, okay? you don't have to use these parameters. Next, you can close the container, so it means that when the fluid will hit the top of your container, okay, so it's Y plus, your fluid will bounce on it and not will be killed. So it's nice to create a room. I never use it, but it's nice to know these parameters. It's better than create a sphere, square. It's boring, it's long, okay, you can close your boundaries, your container. Timing, you know, velocity. It's here, okay, start clean simulation. It's when you hit start, you will create another simulation. If you enable it, you can load the simulation. So you can download some fire simulation or smoke simulation on the internet and load it here. Density is smoke. Smoke density. Density is like ash and smoke. It's velocity, it's okay. Wind is just wind, okay. X, Y, Z, and the power. Vorticity, it's okay. Turbulence, it's okay. Density, it's okay. Clip below, it's the same like velocity, okay. So if you increase this value, this green box will kill the fluid. It's very useful to speed up your simulation, but for the final simulation you can set it by default, okay. Density diffusion is the time, it's like the dump, but just for the density. Okay, gravity and gravity direction, it's okay. The fuel, you have to activate the fuel. The fuel is like fuel. If temperature will hit the fuel, all the fuel will burn. When fuel set on fire, okay, fuel will emit some density, some temperature, and some burn. Okay. You have to choose here the channel that will set on fire your fuel, okay. If you select none, the fuel will burn directly at the beginning. Okay, so the better is select temperature and maybe select these 2 points and drag it little to the right to take a little time to warm the fuel before it take burn. Okay, the expansion is the explosion of your of your fire, and temperature emission and density emission is the amount of fuel and of temperature and density emission. If you put 10, you will have 10% 10 fois plus. 10 times more of density emitted. Okay, you have more. Okay, it's not a good sentence, but I think you understand me. And burn, is the flames. Alors why burn is the flames? Just because you have 2 decay mode. You have the linear mode and the exponential mode. The exponential this mode it's the same mode than temperature, density, and fuel. I think, yes. It's the same mode, but linear is simulation will die earlier, okay. You have a number for the decay and it's more realistic. It's better. You can choose between 2 decay mode and have another value on decay. Je conseille I advise you to use a less value than in temperature, okay? A bigger value, excuse me. In this case, you will have your flames in your smoke with the density, and you will have better results at the rendering, at the final rendering, because it's more like natural. You always have the density on your fire, etc. If it's a fire in your chimney, it's a fireplace, okay, you will have you would not have density but more burn. It's not the same like an industrial fire with real fuel and chemist component. Okay, now I have my nope. I will create. Okay. I create my cache. I create a simulation. Okay, I'm happy. Nice. And now I will use this cache to create my rendering. In rendering, you have here in smoke shader mapping, you have to select the fluid that Turbulence FD will use to create your smoke. So you can use temperature, burn, fuel, or density as you want, as you wish. By default, use density. By default, I set it by default. And here you can increase the thickness to have more opacity on your smoke, and you can change the color of your smoke. Okay, you can click on this little triangle and load some decay if you want something more strange and artistic. Okay. The brightness is a percentage of the light, of the bounce light, okay? If you increase this value, your smoke will be more brighter, cause more light will bounce on your smoke and go in the camera, or on your eyes, so you see it more light. Illumination is very important. Voxel fast is very nice. Voxel fust is a little longer, but it helps Turbulence FD to smooth the rendering. Sometimes you will have a step effect, okay, and like an aliasing, a step effect, it's very ugly. So you can go in voxel smooth, and accurate is very very long, but it's very rare to use accurate or smooth. Fast is very nice. The illumination resolution is like the I advise you to work with 20% to have a better render time, okay? But for the final render, you have to increase this value since you don't see artifact, okay? Very important to use multiple scattering, just because if you use multiple scattering, your fire will light your density. If multiple scattering is not activated, the fire will not light your flames, your density, and it's better to have it, but it takes more time, so it's very important to have the good parameters, the good value here. And don't touch to these parameters, okay? These two parameters are very nice, always. If you increase this value, the render will be more accurate, more realistic, but take more time, very long time, and the difference are un tout petit peu. For base, these values are awesome. Light brightness, more brightness, or less. The fall off, you know what is it. And fire brightness is the importance of the lightning from the fire. Increase this value if you want more light. Sometimes 3000 it's nice. Sometimes 100 is nice, as you wish. if you want to use the subgrid details, is to create some more turbulence, more details, you have to go in container and use velocity. Okay, you have to cache the velocity to use this velocity displacement. It's very important to use this cache because when you will have a movie, okay, video, the noise intensity will be coherent. It will be a good simulation. Without the cache, velocity displacement will not work, and noise intensity will do crazy things. And don't use those parameters if you don't use cache velocity. Very important. But you have to know that cache velocity take a lot of place on your space on your computer. It's very expensive place. Expensive? No, it's very expensive, big place. Okay. Where I am. Okay, fire shader, the same things. Okay, here I select burn. Separate opacity, no. Color the opacity, okay, you know what is it. And you have two color modes, the black body and the manual. Manual is very nice. Okay, set temperature for this example is very nice. It's the best. It's realistic for a candle or something like very natural fire, I think. It's strange here, but when you have all scene, it's very nice. Okay, you decrease the luminescence, but I really like this this color mode. Okay, and if you click on this triangle, you can load some flames you have. These flames, this one for a candle. You have the little bluish under the maybe this one. Okay, you have to set up it a little. Okay, but it's a little hard to use them, but it's a good start-up point. Okay, so just nothing more to say about it. But black body is nice too, but I hate the default parameters. I like increase the blue, put it in in this value. Okay, I think the value, the result is better. And alors the low temperature will change the color of this, and high temperature will change the color of this one. Okay, you can see it's very high this and this one. With black body, it's nice with some post-production effects. It's very important to think about your post-production. It will work. It will improve your render, and then you have the same subgrid detail tab than in smoke shader. So I have nothing to tell more about it. Okay. 40 minutes. It's nice. Okay, I think it's very good for to begin with Turbulence FD. It's very nice. You know, lots of parameters that you never saw in all the tutorials. I think. I think it's nice. Okay, so if you like our tutorial, if you like work with 3D, in 3D and share your work, you can go in Motion Designer Community. It's a Facebook group. You have lots of French people, but English people are bienvenue, are welcome. Welcome, yeah, you're welcome in this group. You can show your ask some question. You can show your work and speak with us. It's a very nice group. You can follow our work of on Instagram MHS Pod. Okay, you can see some funny things, some good work, some realistic work. Wow, some artistic work. Wow, et voilà, donc lots of blunder. My friends who make some tutorials on this channel is Maximaka, MHS Max on Instagram. It's a very nice musician, and so you can see it. A very nice bass player. And my Instagram is sylvainfavremhs. I am a musician too. I do some music. Okay, if you want to follow us or just check to know more about us, you can go on Instagram. Thanks for listening to me. I hope you like this video. Feel free to comment and like and share. Comment to say if you like my accent, if it's okay. I work it all days to improve my English, my vocabulary, to upload better English tutorials on our channel. Okay, I want to be better in English. Okay, so see you soon for another video. Ciao.